actor and comedian, Shaun Bedgood.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Thanks for being aboard, man. I appreciate it. I wanted to make sure you was one of the first interviews. I did. Yeah. Why don't you tell the people? A lot of people already know, but why don't you tell them how you ended up in Los Angeles?
So basically, I had a career job, and but the whole time I was doing stand up and I was acting on the side back in Boston. And 2016, I decided to make the leap to do it full time, and all in that career. And I did all I could in Boston. I booked a lot of stuff. That first year I was off, and in 2017 ended up moving to Los Angeles.
Okay. Yeah. And when you first came to LA, did it pan out the way you wanted, or did it take more time than you thought? Or?
Man, look, yeah, LA is a beast, and it's one of them. This is one of them cities where you don't know it until you hear it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know it until you hear it, you in it, and it's a rude awakening. It's quite an adjustment period. So my first couple of years was rough.
Yeah.
Probably some of the roughest years of my adult life. Especially financially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it took a little bit, man, but it takes a while. It takes a few years to really, learn the lay of the land and make your way.
Right. So how did you first, get representation, agent, and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Rolling or whatever.
Yeah. So with that, so when I got here, I got off the plane. I at least had a commercial agent.
Okay.
Because my agent back in Boston, they had a branch here in Los Angeles.
Oh.
But I didn't get out that much because I was real green. You know what I'm saying? My headshots weren't up to par, and my media package wasn't where it needed to be. So we ended up parting ways, and I got a manager. So this is what I did. So it took me. I got here in 2017. I got my manager in 2018, and I just did. I was putting myself out there a lot. So I did a lot of short films. What really helped me was a short film contest called Collaboration Filmmakers Challenge.
Okay.
And I did that, and the guy that runs it said to me, "Hey man, you got any representation?" I said, "Nah, man." He was like, "Man, you're really good to me. I can refer you to a manager that I know." And I was in 2017. I waited a year to build up my profile and my marketing materials looking better. Then I reached back out to that dude. I was like, "Yo, is that office still good?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I got you." And he lined me up with my first manager.
Okay.
And they were up there, man. They really established people. And they were the ones that got me my agent. So they got me my commercial agent and they got me my theatrical agent.
Okay.
Yeah, so they set me up.
And then, first of all, I tell everybody, Shaun's the one who helped me get out here to Hollywood and, taught me the ropes and helped me, find an apartment and all that. So we'll get into that another day. But he's a, real good dude. Anybody that's watching this from Boston area, whatever, knows him. So how did you get, the break? I know you've done a lot of roles and all that stuff here while you've been here. I know one of them was Shameless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was the first one, man.
Yeah.
So I got signed in 2018. I want to say around late summer, maybe fall, and exactly a year later, in August, I booked Shameless. That was my first speaker role on TV.
Yeah.
And from there, I was already SAG eligible. They made me a must join, so I joined a union, and it's just been on and popping since then, man. In terms of the opportunity,
right? And you want to talk to people also about the comedy. The comedy.
Right now, I'm on a little bit of a sabbatical.
Right.
I mean, I haven't done a set in about 3 years. But when I got here, I was really hitting the comedy circuit pretty hard the first year and a half. I was getting out to mics, I was doing shows and stuff. But the thing with LA, man, it's kind of hard it's easy to spread yourself thin. You know what I mean? Because it's just so many hours a day, a lot of traveling. You know how it is, traffic. So your days are shorter here. So for me, I couldn't really invest the time that I wanted to into comedy.
Right.
So I said, I'm going all in with acting.
Comedy's hard too. That's brutal. It's hard.
Yeah, it's
tough.
tough.
Room, 200 people make them laugh. But anyway, let me ask you this: a lot of people, they might see, which is true. You've made it, in a lot of ways, right? But a lot of people might look at it and be like, okay, he got a manager, agent, he been in speaking roles, think he's like a millionaire or something, Do you want to explain to people, like, I know you're always audition every time we're talking and all that. So you want to explain to people, like, how not to be down when you get an audition, because, it takes a good amount before you, get the roles like Shameless and all that.
Yo, it's a numbers game, man. I got this advice from another actor. I can't think of the guy's name, but otherwise I shot him. But he said, so you basically gotta fall in love with the process.
Right.
Because at this level, like where I'm at, booking co-star roles, smaller roles, most of my acting is doing my audition.
Yeah.
So you gotta fall in love with that.
Yeah.
Because booking a role and going on set, that's few and far between. The last joint I booked the ABC show about a month and a half ago, and the minute they call cut or they rap me, I'm out of a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looking for another job. So I haven't worked since then, but I've done a bunch of tapes since then.
Right.
And it's like you just have to fall in love with the process and understand that what's for you is gonna come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get upset about missed opportunities, and that's hard to do. Hard not to do, rather. Because it's some of them you just really want. I had a couple of roles recently where I was like, man, that's my wheelhouse, man. That, like, can I talk to that producer, that director? Like,
right.
That's me right there.
Right.
I don't know if they
Felt
know.
it and shit, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't get them. And it's like, you know what? It wasn't for me.
Right.
You're gonna go through your hard times, right? You're gonna feel bad, but it's just a spell. That's all it is. It's just it's just a moment.
Right.
You might feel like shit for 2-3 days, but that's gonna pass. You know what I'm saying? And those 2-3 days are tough. You're gonna question whether you made the right decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Should I go back home? What the hell's going on? But it'll pass, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like banging your knee. You just got all you can do is wait it out.
One thing I learned from Shaun when I came out here, a lot of people think you got a tough guy role or something. You just on there and you just yelling or something. It's a lot more deeper than that. So I had to get on my A game and get acting coach and all that. People don't know you training's like the top priority. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you probably at the point now where you got so much training, you kind of, you know what I mean? You might not need to go for every role, but still,
not everyone.
Right.
Nah, it's a lot I do on my own now. It's just something that's kind of outside of my comfort zone, like a guest star role or a lead role. Then I'll defer.
Right.
And get coaching. Shout out to Ricky Pete, by the way.
Oh, definitely Ricky Pete.
Ricky's back. He texted me the other day.
Oh, is he? Yeah, that's we both use him as an acting coach.
Yeah.
And then I know you were talking about doing some acting lessons as well, like teaching people or whatever from everything you learned.
Yeah, I definitely would like to teach and coach. And not like a whole roster. I'm not looking to make my bones off of it like that. But it's just like some people, all they need is a guidance.
Yeah.
Or push in the right direction.
Yeah.
If I can be that bridge to a few people, man, that'd be great for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I remember you even had to fly back for the East Coast to knock a roll out there when you were here. You got another roll out East Coast or whatever.
I booked it was a CVS commercial.
Yeah.
Like a CVS print job. That was the only gig I flew back for. I've been auditioning steady back home, man. I'm just looking to land my first feature role. So.
Yeah. But what would you tell the people who move to LA, right? Who think they might get discouraged, you know what I'm saying? They come out here and they think the first year they're gonna pop off or something, like Mark Wahlberg or something. You know what I mean? What would you tell them? I mean, I know we kind of talked about it, but as far as the mental, how to deal with. I remember you told me when I came here, because I was discouraged a lot, and like I said, shout out to Shaun a lot of ways, because I got down, and his company, look, man, it takes time. It has waves and it's up and down. You gotta look at kind of like a 5-10 year game plan.
Definitely, man. I mean, I was just talking to a friend the other day about this. You want to set realistic goals for yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you come out here year one talking about I want to be Jim Carrey or Denzel Washington, I'm not telling you not to dream big, but don't feel bad if you don't reach that mountaintop in the first year. You know You know what I mean? So that's the other thing. Like set like realistic, attainable goals for yourself. Short-term goals for yourself.
Right.
Because it's like if the goal is, hey, I want to be a big famous working actor. That's broad as hell. You got to break it down. Like how are you going to get there? What do you need to get to that point? And that takes research. That takes questions. You know, workshops, groups, whatever. Like try to take as much information, or gather as much information as you possibly can. You know, so that you can create your plan. Because people don't have a plan. That's the thing. People come here without a plan. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that, man. Like you gotta have a destination in order to create a plan. You know, so iron that out, and then you do it bit by bit, break it down.
And I remember like when I came out here, you know you helped me out, and I went to a couple like free acting things and all that. But you gotta pay for some of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going like damn near every day, so you want to tell people like about, you know, like I said, the training, like it costs money too and time, you know, and you gotta eat in the meantime. Like you might land a big role like you just did, but then like you said, you might not get another one for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta budget all that out, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different resources that are available for actors. There's the Actors Fund. That can help out with some things. If you're SAG, they offer a lot of classes and stuff for free. You already, you know about that. Or you know, get out to like reading workshops, right, or writer workshops, I should say. That's when. So what they'll do is writers will showcase the material, and they'll have actors come in and they'll read those pages. It's a code reading series. Right. Like that's something that's free, where you can go and meet a lot of people. You know what I'm saying, in the industry, and people that kind of do their own things. A lot of actors I've met do their own private groups, where they get up and run scripts, run lines, do auditions and stuff like that. That doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, I remember that's one of the ones you took me to or whatever. You were up there reading all the time.
Yeah.
Like you've landed some big roles. You know what I'm saying? So for example, when you landed Shameless, right? You know, how long, so people can kind of get an idea, how long was kind of like the dry spell? How many auditions did you do before you got that role? Since your last role, you feel me? So people can kind of understand, hey, look, you know, you might have did, knowing you audition like every day, so you might have did 30 auditions for other stuff and probably 3 for Shameless before you got that role, you know?
Yeah, you know what? Shameless. So before I got that role, August 7th, 2019. In terms of TV auditions, I probably at that time only had like 12 or 13. Or no. Less than that. Maybe, let me see. Yeah, less than that, bro. Maybe 10.
Yeah, but still,
Max,
that's a lot of auditions.
Max 10, and then I booked my first audition. And then it was another, because, you know, my auditions have been increasing, right? Because I only had 10 for a year. I do 10 a week, you know what I'm saying, nowadays. Yeah. But at that time, it was like 10, then I booked that, which is a blessing.
Right.
To only do 10 and book your first TV.
Oh, yeah.
I knew a girl did 125.
Damn.
And then booked her first. It was the 125th one.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to tell people, because I know like people back in Boston or whatever, you know, we were both acting out there or whatever, and you know, we probably know a lot of the same people, but you know, like the auditions sometimes would be kind of rare, you know, so it's like they got an audition for a speaking role, and then they, you know, crossing their fingers or whatever, hoping they get it, and it's like you just kind of can't do that. Like Jose told me this. Gonzalez taught me.
Guns, what up?
Yeah, what's up? I mean, he been killing that too. I've been seeing him. Shout out to you. Yeah. But he you know, helped me with my mental by teaching me. He was like, once you leave that audition room, it's left. You know, unless they call you, you know, obviously you get back in it. But
You gotta submit. Forget about it, bro. The minute I hit up submit, upload on EcoCast, it's like, that's it.
Yeah, you gotta be done.
Because
you drive me crazy.
It'll drive you nuts, man. You know, and it's whoa. You gotta take it easy.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Can you imagine the girl you was talking about, his friend or whatever, that did like
125.
Can you imagine if every time she was like getting down about each one? You know what I mean? You just gotta hang in there because she finally got one, right?
She got one, man. And perseverance, you know, it's a thing, you know. But everybody's path is different.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's you know, I say I did 10 to get mine, but it's like you don't know all the other stuff that I did.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Or and with her situation, you know, you just don't know. You don't know the particulars. You know, it's all a case by case basis, and you know that brings me to my next point. Don't compare yourself to other people.
Yep.
All different. You know what I mean? Everyone's walking their own individual path. No path is identical.
Yep.
You know, I don't care how similar it might look on the surface. It's not the same. It's all different. So you definitely want to take things with a grain of salt.
Definitely. And I want to ask you this. So, what's your advice, let's say, right, for somebody, let's just say Boston, right? Because we both know a lot of actors in Boston and all that. And, you know, I feel like, you know, the best bet is going the New York route, getting an agent in New York, you know, going there and all that. But some, you know, I don't know, use a California address or whatever and go there. But it's kind of hard, I try to tell people, because, you know, you like you know, you fly out for audition, then you might not get the call back, then you get it. You might have been back home in Boston by that time. You got to come back tomorrow. You know, sometimes there's a short notice. You know what I'm saying? So what would your advice be to them? You know, you're a little bit more qualified than me as far as giving advice. You've been out here a lot longer. You know, landed a lot more stuff. What would be your advice on with them for their acting? And like you said, everybody's different, and this ain't down on nobody. You know, this is just, hey, some advice that might help one person, right? And if it, you know, if it does, then help, you know, we serve our purpose, you know. But what would be your advice if somebody's in, you know, let's say Boston, and they want to get a California agent? I mean, it's gonna be rough. Like,
So yes and no.
Right.
So check this out. What you can do is, because of Zoom pandemic, everything's on Zoom. Yo, there's people in my class from fucking Hungary. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
You got access to LA to the training. I didn't have that in Boston.
right, right.
I came here and I was like, oh, this is the major leagues. The training is like up here. No disrespect to Boston, but
Right, right.
it's just the major leagues, bro.
Right,
It's different.
right.
You're
Yeah.
playing with, you know, it's way more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is start prepping yourself to come here. You can hop in classes now. You can go on Google and look up best acting studios in LA and start auditing classes now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, and then from that, because you're gonna meet people. You're gonna meet, you know, people that have reps that are out here, and that'll be like your line to the information.
Yep.
So you can get all the information remotely now because of the circumstances brought on to us by COVID.
Yep.
You feel me? So I would say definitely do that. And if you're gonna move here, if you have a set time that you're gonna move here, you can start submitting stuff to representation and say, hey, yeah, I'm here. You know, because all the meetings gonna be on Zoom any fucking way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you can, you know, as long as you know you're gonna come here. Let's say you have a date, like I'm gonna be there in March. You can start doing the work right now. Start doing the work in October.
Yep.
To gear up for March. That's scouting out studios. You can get your classes. You know, you can start working on your marketing materials, and that's a big thing. What I will say is you're gonna need LA level headshots, and headshots that fit the style of LA. New York is different. Everywhere is different.
Yeah.
So you might have to. You can get that done when you're here, so that's fine. Or make a trip here and do that. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to make a trip here anyway to scout out apartments and shit like that. Like, you know, so you can make that all, include all that in your initial trip, in one of your initial trips out. But yeah, I think that's the best thing to do is to start, you know, prepping before you even get here. Scouting out studios, like I said, acting studios, headshot photographers, and getting the lay of the land. Because your marketing materials are very important. It's critical to you getting getting manager or any type of representation. Like it has to be up to par. And you need a demo reel. You need like clips and scene work. You know what I'm saying? And good stuff. So
Shout out to Magisha, because I had and George, because I had a good demo reel, but my headshots were just like he was saying, not up, you know, up to par. So Shaun hooked me up with the photographer. What's her name?
Catherine Farnsworth.
Catherine Farnsworth. Shout out to her. And once I got those headshots with the demo reel, and Shaun helped me, format the right resume and stuff, that's when I got my first manager. You know what I'm saying? And like, it was pretty quick. Like actually also the acting classes and all that, but it was pretty quick. That's how you pretty quick. That's how you gotta have that. You gotta spend the money to do it. You know what I mean? But with that being said, I end up parting ways with that manager and getting an agent. So do you want to talk about that? Like some people think, even me, I thought, you got to make a manager and an agent. You're in California, everything's set. I know I've been through a manager and agent. I know you was, you kind of kept my spirits up because you told me a little bit about your stories. When I first got, dropped, I was like, damn, it kind of hurt my heart. So you want to explain to people like how it takes a while, sometime maybe to find a good fit? Because I know you've been with your agent now for a while. You kind of got a good fit or whatever.
Yo, man, I'm keeping a buck. I've been changing managers like underwear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm on. I ain't gonna say what number I'm on.
Right.
I'm on another manager. This is the best fit for me.
Yeah.
You gotta find what's the best fit for you, and it's trial and error, man. You might not know. You might have to rock with somebody for a little bit to know what you don't like. You know what I'm saying? And know what you do like or do want from a manager. Yeah. So for me, I looked out because my first manager, they got me my agents now.
Oh, okay.
I've only had my agents now.
Okay.
I'm with DPN, so for commercial and theatrical, I've been with them since 2018.
Damn.
But I've been changing out managers because it just wasn't the right fit. You gotta really understand where it is you're at in your career. Because a manager is supposed to manage your career.
Yeah.
So if you're not booking shit, what are they managing?
Right.
Really, you know what I mean? It's like it's you're a startup at that point. And back in the day, they used to invest in startups, but it's not the same. They want people that's already kind of established.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as far as with the manager, and this is going to take time, you have to really know what you want and what you're looking for, and that has to line up with what that manager is what they have going on, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because some managers are hands-on, very hands-on, which is what I needed.
Right.
Because I'm a little newer,
Right.
so I needed more attention. Right? I had managers before that couldn't give me that attention.
Yeah.
They had more high-profile clients that they were dealing with. They couldn't build me up.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why those situations didn't work. It was more so because I was too green and didn't have nothing to work with. But after I booked my first 3 TV credits, after the third one, what was the third one? The Chosen. I had a management company come out to me, but it was different. I had cachet at that point. I got credits already into.
Oh yeah.
Like if you have credits, that means you already have relationships with casting. That's important.
Yeah.
So at that point, it just been a whole different experience for me, because they reached out to me.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. If you go and searching for them, the ball's not really in your court.
Yeah.
But when they come to you, that means you got something they like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a pretty chick. Damn, she got a nice ass.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When I first got out here, I had a flat ass with no titties.
Right.
They weren't trying to rock me like that.
That's hilarious. But that's so true, because I remember like my first manager, he was a real well-respected manager. I thought I was all set, but like he said, it just wasn't a good fit. You know what I mean? And it was probably on my end. I was probably a little too green.
Cool,
or whatever,
green, same deal, bro.
Yeah. And then like when I did the Tell the Truth series, and for a lot of people don't know, because they make it seem like it's a game show or something, but it's a paid principal SAG-AFTRA role, because you're playing a role. I was playing the dude of the Funky Bunch, whatever. And when I got that role, that's when I got another agent lined up for, I'm meeting with next week. Hopefully that's a good fit. But like he said, people will start reaching out to you. And also, I learned some tricks through Ricky P, acting coach. And we'll talk about that another day, but that can help people where you can kind of put your stuff out there, and then the managers and agents will reach out to you if they like you. And that's how I got this man, this agent. So
Talent Link. Talent Link. Yeah.
So we'll tell you all about that, and because we're gonna probably do another interview with Shaun because he's done a lot of stuff here, so it's kind of hard to cover in just one interview. You know what I'm saying? He's my good friend, like I said, and I'm sure, at least for me and probably him, like anybody out there in Boston, whatever that's trying to come out here or anything, like they can try to hit us up or whatever. We might not get back to you immediately because sometimes you're like auditioning. He's auditioning like damn near every day, so he's got to memorize the lines and all that. I'm auditioning some, not as much as him, but anyway, he helped me come out here and taught me the ropes. And like anybody we can help. I'm really gonna try to help.
Because
you need relationships. Like without him, it would have been like 3 times harder.
You need a liaison, bro. Mm-hmm. Like you really need someone here that's been here for a while that can speak, from experience. Because the thing, this is something, and this was experiences in Boston. I met several actors that would tell me everything about LA. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how the fuck you know everything about LA, and you in Boston?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a war going on in Afghanistan.
I know.
It's like, yo, it's hot out there. The weather's bad. No.
Right.
You with me?
Yeah.
You ain't in the shit. You ain't in the jungle.
Right.
Talk to someone that's in the fight. Mm-hmm. Talk to somebody that's out here that's currently, even someone that spent 15 years in LA. Mm-hmm. If the last 8 they haven't been in LA, they don't know what that LA is. Yeah. They don't know what the current LA is.
Yeah.
You still don't know. Like it's. And so don't take a lot of advice from people that aren't here and from people that haven't spent time here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because they just don't know the lay of the land. It's ever changing.
Yeah. You got to keep up with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, I still hit Shaun up, for advice and stuff like that. So also, you got to be humble. You know what I mean? Like, you can't look at it like, oh, I want to ask him for advice or something. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just got to admit if somebody got more experience and they've been through more stuff and they got more, auditions, and they've been here longer, like you said, you gotta, reach out to them and hopefully meet some good people. Like I met Shaun, that got the time when they can kind of help you a little bit as much as they can, but you still gotta do a lot on your own. I mean, you can only tell people what to do. You can't make them do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like one thing he taught me, like, I would get roles, if it was a tough guy role, I'd just be like, memorize my lines. Yeah, and that wasn't flying. And then, he told me, and then, like I said, did a lot of acting classes and all that, and you get in depth and all that, and then that's when I started to, get a couple of roles or whatever.
Yeah,
you gotta, dig deep in that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of crafting. Class is important. Class is very important, especially in the beginning. You want to build a solid foundation for yourself as an actor, so that you have, a rock solid process when you get these auditions in.
Yeah.
You can break shit down and execute.
And then one thing I want to ask you, I know you mentioned kind of like branding, like with me, with branding, I'm I'm a nice guy and everything, but for some reason I get like the tough guy roles or whatever. And that kind of was good for me. It's kind of like a small lane, but I'm pretty good in that little lane, so I kind of stay in it. So a lot of people say you don't want to get typecast, but then I heard it's better to get typecast than not cast at all.
It's definitely better to be type, because they're gonna typecast you regardless, bro.
Right.
Like all the shit that I'm going out for right now, it's the same
genre.
It's that clip. So if you guys haven't seen it, but I did a clip. I have this really strong clip of my reel of me playing a guy that's struggling. You know what I'm saying? Guy that's living in his car, barely getting by. And that's been the first thing I booked was an everyday man, the everyday low class guy was in jail. You know what I'm saying? Then I booked a construction worker that was buying illegal VCRs.
Okay.
So those are all similar, all working class people that are rough around the edges.
Right.
That's what I get booked in right now.
Oh, okay.
And that's but that's for right now. Mm-hmm. But as I grow in the industry and as I improve my marketing materials, i.e. Demo reel and just content, that can change. You can change it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, right now, that's the pocket I'm in. It's just, the thing is, don't sit in it forever.
Yeah.
Use it to build your name and you build a foundation. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, hey, you know what? I can play the dad.
Right.
I can play the, Christmas dad. Hey. right? And that could be way different than
Yeah.
the struggling guy or whatever it is you set for yourself.
Right. Right. And then another thing, I definitely knew what I wanted to ask you. Well, you know, also Shaun, he blessed me, you know, with a couple of, I was in a couple episodes, but he, you know, also it's kind of important to do your own thing too. So even though he's doing auditions, you know, he's got a manager, agent, all that, he's still doing his own thing. So he's doing his own web series or whatever. Then you submit it to a film festival or something.
Yeah.
And then you're doing it with
Casey, yeah.
Casey, yeah.
Shout out to my man Casey Hines, aka Ason Rose.
Yeah.
We just submitted our first project to Sundance Film Festival. It's the biggest independent film festival in the world, basically.
Yeah.
And we submitted a cut of City Dreaming featuring Manny,
Yeah.
Manny Jar Group.
Yeah, I got a blast. Thank you, man.
And yeah, and my man, the late Ricardo Flanagan, R.I.P.
Man. Yeah. So let's talk about that. This was a friend of mine, but you know, I only talking about Ricardo. You wanna tell the people about Ricardo?
Yeah, man. If you don't know him, it's a travesty, man. This dude is one of the greatest people I've met, you know, in my time here, in my lifetime, and very talented individual. Triple threat, stand-up comedian, actor, rapper. He was great at all three. He was a guy that was amassing credits. You know, he was on Last Comic Standing, Jared Carmichael Show, Shameless. You know, tons of credits, and unfortunately, he died a couple of weekends ago due to COVID. Yeah, but great individual. Look him up. His name is Ricardo Flanagan. Ricardo with an L.
And that was Shaun's like one of his like best friends, and I knew him. You know, I was friends with him through Shaun, and you know, he was a big dude. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people look at him and think he's timid, but he's one of them dudes. As soon as you see him, he had a good heart. You could just feel the good positive energy from him. You know what I mean? So I know like that had to hurt Shaun because, like I said, they were like super tight. You know?
Yeah, it's my brother, man. You know, for real, that dude. Cause you know, you have those friends that become your family, become your sister, become your brother. He was one of those for me. So
yeah. And then on top of that, speaking of sisters and all that, just like before that, you know, you lost somebody else as well, family. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, my sister passed away in August, and you know, that was definitely the hardest thing I had to deal with in my adult life by far. You know, I lost my mother at 17. You know, but losing a sibling, that's a whole different. It's different, man. Different can of worms, man. Different type of connection. You know, so it's been a trying year for me. You know, but just trying to you know, maintain, bro, and stay the course. You know, that's all I can do.
Yeah, like he was saying, like it's good to be an actor. You know how to control your emotions. You know, I went through a tragedy. You know, luckily nobody got killed or died, but. You know, in LA, life goes on, you know, and it's like, you know, you still got to do these auditions throughout.
They still come in, man. It's still those conversations. I've had conversations, you know, I'm so sorry for your loss, Shaun. You know, there's a role that came in that you could read for. If you want to.
Right.
If you want to. I don't know how you're feeling. It's like, yeah, shit still moves. I get it. I get it. It's like, yeah, I'll record this shit when I'm not crying. You know what I'm saying?
And what else I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, another thing is you have to control your emotions out here and control, like, finding your money. You know what I mean? And there was like a tip you want to give the people, like.
Listen, how your money situated. If you're gonna move to LA, already have it situated. I don't mean have a savings. You're gonna come here and figure it out. I mean, already know how you're gonna make money in LA and when you're gonna start making money in LA. Like have that job or whatever that hustle is already in motion, and like this is my start date. You don't want to get here and search for a job because you might find a job, but it might not be the right job. A lot of these jobs don't pay. They don't pay like the East Coast. That was the glaring thing for me. It's like, shit, Boston. Clean toilets for $22 an hour. You get a janitor job for $22 an hour in Boston. Like that. Out here, it's like, yeah, the minimum wage is 15, but then the next highest joint would be $16.50. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, and it's very expensive. Very
gas, the taxes in the grocery store, everything, and all that adds up.
That
You
shit
be like,
is
damn,
high
what the hell happened to the money? You know what I
high as
mean?
hell.
And like I was saying, like Shaun told me once when I came out here, you know, I was trying to get another car and all. He was like, just save your money, bro. Money go quick out here. Thank God he told me, you know, I wouldn't even been able to afford my apartment. You feel me? Like, money goes super quick.
Quit. You was trying to sell me the car. I would have
Yeah,
felt bad. You called me 50, 100.
Yeah.
And they'll drive. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you a ride.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, yo.
I couldn't have did that.
Nah, thank God I kept that joint, man. Like I said, but with that being said, like I was saying, like they got a new Shaun or whatever, and you know, even though he's extremely busy or whatever, you gotta learn how to do stuff on your own. But it's good to have some type of support system, somebody you cool with, who can, you know, help you, even a little bit of time they might have, whatever. Like he helped me with the headshots. I got the, you know, the good headshot lady we talked about,
Yeah.
and you know, it was cheaper than most, and it was, you know, a very respected lady. You know, you could spend twice as much on the headshots we trash.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Percent. You gotta. Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. Like things don't just pop out at you in LA. Not quality stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything can be out there.
So I mean, I feel like a lot of it's based on relationships. You know,
100%.
like he had a lot of good relationships. He blessed me, you know, and told me some of these people. You know, I built some relationships. And I feel like it's really important, you know, to have good relationships. I mean, you gotta have the talent, you know,
Yeah.
but you know, to have good relationships really helps. You know,
It's damn near everything in LA. A good relationship can take you
yeah.
far, bro.
And then the last thing I wanted to say, because it might have cut off or whatever, but the web series, he also, it's important to do your own, you know, thing, even though he's doing auditions. He got an audition while we were just here. He just got an audition when we took a break, so congrats on that. But also he makes time to do his own thing, and he did the web series with KC, right?
Yeah, City Dreaming.
City Dreaming, yeah.
Yeah, it was something that Manny was a part of.
Yeah, he blessed me. Thank you, man.
And I know, thank you for doing it, man. That shit, it goes, man. People love you in that shit. You know, and we were able to create a different cut with some of the newer material we shot, and we submitted it to Sundance. You know, Sundance, that's the biggest independent film festival in the world, as many of you know. So, happy for that, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And one thing I want to tell everybody, like when I first came, I did a role with you. I don't think it was for that one. Remember where you were doing something like the cop scene?
Oh, the exchange.
Yeah, and you know, he was telling me, well, you ain't giving me the energy back, you know, so like you can't be, you know, and I had to listen to him, whatever, and then we, you know, created some type of chemistry, and I did good, but you gotta listen to people and not be sensitive, you know, because people are trying to help you, you know what I mean? Like, that's one thing you gotta have, like, you gotta be able to have, what do you wear, you know, not such a sensitive heart when it comes to acting, you know, over anywhere, and especially in LA, like.
Yeah, you can't, don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal.
Because people are trying to help you know what I mean? But we got more coming up. We're gonna do another one with Shaun, and we're gonna dedicate this episode
To my man Ricardo Flanagan, man, R.I.P. Big Bro.
Yeah.
Miss you forever.
Shout out to him, and also Shaun's sister as well. You know what I'm saying?
Candace and Shaun Bedgood.
Yeah, and just tune in, and next episode I'm gonna have Shaun, you know, give you some tips and stuff like that, and some more knowledge of LA. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being on the show, man. Appreciate you, bro.